Welcome to episode 5 of the Culver Cast Sports Spectacular, starring Justin and Hanna Croy.
Welcome to week 5 of the Culver Cast. I am here with Mr. Croy, who is head honcho, CEO.
Assistant to the head honcho.
Assistant CEO of Sports Spectacular. So this is year number 39.
Yep.
39th annual Sports Spectacular. So how did this start 39 years ago? Me coming from an outside school, I had never heard of this before in my entire life. And it is a huge event. How did this start?
Yeah, so 1986, a teacher here by the name of Ron Wyatt brought Sports Spectacular to Culver Community. I believe he taught at, it was Wabash prior to coming here, and they did something similar there. And as a matter of fact, they still do. But theirs is nothing compared to what ours is, actually. We have surpassed them in Sports Spectacular, if you will.
If someone from Wabash is listening to this, they're going to up their game next year.
Well, they do theirs during the school day. So they still do it.
So theirs is like our fall bonanza.
Yeah, theirs is like our fall bonanza, basically.
Okay.
But it started with like 8 events in a dance contest, and now we're up to 18 total events in a dance contest. And then Mr. Wyatt left after 1, maybe 2 years after Sports Spectacular started, and luckily it's been continuing on and going ever since.
Who took it over after he left?
I'm not sure. I know Mr. Browder took it over for a very, very, very long time, like 20 plus years. Mr. Browder was in charge of it. I took over for Mr. Chris Stevens, who got it from Mr. Browder. So he was kind of the interim there for a little while. And then I've been doing it since 2020.
So you are 5th in line.
Yeah, 4th or 5th, I think.
That's not bad. That's not a bad turnover in 39 years.
No, not at all.
Nice. Okay, so you mentioned 18 events. What are those events?
So what we try to do as much as possible, or what I try to do, is keep the events the same as what they were when they started. And there's a few that have been taken out and changed over the years. But the evening starts with not actually an event, but more of just a friendly competition of volleyball between the seniors and the staff. And then we go into event number 1 would be attendance. So counting how many kids are here prior to, let's back up, start over again with your question.
Going over the events?
Yeah, there's an edit.
Okay, so you mentioned 18 events. What are those 18 events that everyone gets to do?
Yeah, so there's 18 competition areas, and not all of them are necessarily events in the true sense of the word. There are 18 different competitions that make up Sports Spectacular. The first one is ticket sales. So how many tickets each grade can sell, 6 through 12. They all get 100 tickets to start with, and then from there, if they sell more than 100, they get another 100. So they try to sell as many tickets in the 2-week window as they can. Then we go to the banner competition. So right now, you could go through the hallways and see students working on their banners.
I saw middle school on the way down here.
Yeah, just an artistic competition where they have a banner that represents their class, and usually it goes with their class theme. And so they have to decorate that however they want to represent them. And so those get hung up in the hallway. Attendance is another one. The team that brings the most students to Sports Spectacular, and really that competition is the percentage of students compared to the number of students in your grade. So,
because this is an after-school event, so this is an evening event.
Yeah, and so starting the actual events out, we have some of the traditional races, which are the sack race, ping pong roll, scooter race, wheelbarrow race, crab walk relay, jump rope race, tricycle race, adult egg carry. This year we're bringing back a couple of events that we lost because of COVID, the dryland swim. And then we also are changing the what used to be the take it off relay, which was parents. It was kind of like the dryland swim for parents, but instead of swimming stuff, it was done with a shirt and a hat. we're doing that this year as Take It Off Together. So it'll be the first time that students and parents make up one team for a grade level. So there'll be there'll be 4 parents and 4 students that make up one team. So 4 8th grade parents, 4 8th grade students, 2 boys, 2 girls.
But it doesn't have to be those students' parents. It can be any parent.
Yeah, it can be any parent in your grade. It doesn't have to be those students' parents, but it has to be 2 male parents, 2 female parents, and then 2 boys, 2 girls. And they're going to basically do the dryland swim, but with the hat, shirt, and pants for the Take It Off relay.
Nice. Okay. What other events can we expect that night?
Yeah, so when we took those dryland swim and Take It Off relay together, when we took those away because of COVID and we didn't want people sharing stuff, we implemented an adult egg carry because we had always done the egg carry, but we had one for adults since they lost a event, and we also added in dodgeball because the kids lost dryland swim. So the dodgeball tournament and the egg carry, adult egg carry, have become so popular that we actually kept those.
Those adults are sneaky with their eggs.
Yeah,
They have a certain way, and as long as you're not touching it, they're sneaky.
We kept those events in
Mm-hmm.
and decided that because they were so popular and people like watching them so much that we were going to go ahead and keep those in. And then of course we have tug of war, which is grade level versus grade level tug of war, and then we end always Sports Spectacular with our dance competition, which was actually one of the first events that we've had.
And those that is male, female, each grade
Yep, 1 male, 1 female each grade.
performs.
Get 2 minutes to perform a dance, and the Miss Darrow, our choir director, she has a crew that she assembles every year to judge the dance contest, and they have a rubric and they pick a winner.
Nice, nice. Okay, so why is this? So this is a community event. Anyone from the community can come,
Yep.
can buy tickets, can enjoy it. Why is it important to have this event after school for the community? Why?
Yeah, well, one of the big things that I don't know if a lot of people know or not is that Sports Spectacular serves as a fundraiser for the athletic department. And really the athletic department, aside from individual team fundraisers, the athletic department as a whole only has 2. One is the golf outing, and 2 is Sports Spectacular. And so why is it important for the school is because it serves as a fundraiser for the athletic department. Now, why is it important as a tradition? I was thinking the other day talking to Mr. Stevens that we are now at the point where more students who have graduated from here have had a Sports Spectacular than those who haven't.
Mm-hmm.
So with the exception of the COVID year, the 36th annual Sports Spectacular got canceled, and so we just moved on to the 37th. So really we've only had technically 38 of them, but this one will be the 38th event. I didn't come up with a numbering system though, so
I remember
that was
old
a
debacle.
huge. It was a
Yes.
huge debate as to how are these technically numbered. So it's technically the 38th. It should be the 39th, but since we had already got tickets and we were all ready to go, and that event got canceled due to COVID, we just said that particular event got canceled. So, but why is it important to really answer your question? It's because it's become a tradition to Culver community, and thank goodness there's been a lot of great people and there's no way that Sports Spectacular could happen without our teachers, because not only do our teachers have to buy tickets and show up to the event, they have to be workers of the event.
Our child was like 3 weeks old, and he made me buy a ticket for her.
Yeah,
for her first one.
it says in the rules, which I didn't write the rules. The rules got given to me, handed down after 40 years, that everyone must buy a ticket, and everyone's in bold and capital letters.
I
So
literally could have hid her underneath my shirt, but you made me buy a ticket. Everyone has to buy a ticket.
sorry, but yeah, everyone does have to buy a ticket. But it's become part of what Culver community is. That's one of the few traditions aside from school song and the colors orange and black, and
And you have a lot of the parents in I hear this every year, in the stands. Like, I remember doing that when I was in school, and they remember it as a student, and now they're there competing with their child as a parent.
yeah, and Mr. Barrett has everybody stand up. That's the first thing he asks when we start the night. He goes, if you've participated in Sports Spectacular, please stand up. And it's usually 60% of the people in the audience
Mhm.
stand up, because we've come to the point where
We're now in this, it'd be almost third generation
yeah,
starting. So that's pretty awesome to have something in the community that's gone that long and has affected so many.
Yeah, especially an event that's class competitions,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's really what it is. It's class competitions, and they're not really minute to win it games. They're more like races.
Right.
But it's a class competition that is basically grown and grown and grown and grown, and now it's 18 events, 19 events long. And
then to prepare for this, the kids have pep rally at the end of the day where they get to kind of preview and do some other fun events with each other with the Hungry Hippo and
yeah, that was a Mr. Croy thing, and I did it basically because the goal was that we were doing so much work now.
mm-hmm.
Sports Spectacular has always been a lot of work. I don't want to take anything away from Mr. Browder or Mr. Stevens, but we do more now than we have done in the past, which I'm really proud of decorating the hallways and the posters and the signage and the pep rally is a big one, and giveaways and things like that. Things to get the students excited about Sports Spectacular. One, A, to get them there. B, to build that excitement in the school.
Mm-hmm.
The Culver Middle/High School is hosting the 39th Annual Sports Spectacular, Friday, March 15th in the John R. Nelson Gymnasium. Each grade will go head-to-head in some events. For more information, visit CulverCast.com.
Okay, so the average attendance and ticket sales. So everyone has to have a ticket. It's a huge event. What is average attendance then, do you
I have no idea.
think? I feel like there should be a goal to fill that gym. We can fit 3,000 people in that gym.
Yeah, I have no idea what the average attendance is, and that's basically, we know how many tickets we've sold, but which should tell us, if everybody buys a ticket, right, should tell us what our attendance is. I know that we sold, 3 years ago, we sold 421. Last year, we sold 688 tickets. We had donations that would have put us well over 1,000 tickets, which is how Mr. Barrett and Mrs. Schumann Mr. Zahner and Mrs. Schumann got pied in the face because we sold 1,000 tickets. Last year we only sold 688. So
and Mr. Pugh's getting pied this year, right?
yeah, if we get to the 1,000
Okay.
ticket mark though, so we're either going to need a donor that's going to basically say, I want to buy
Here it is.
1,000 tickets, or we're going to have to sell 1,000 tickets. So we've never sold 1,000 tickets before. Last year was 688.
Okay, so how many tickets have been sold so far? Do you know? What's the count up to?
We are 9 days away. It's Wednesday, 28.
28 tickets?
Mm-hmm. Which
So
is
there's
normal.
quite a bit to go. Okay,
Yeah,
so
which
they
is-
usually get to the end.
Yeah,
and then,
there's usually a really slow period, and the next week, starting Monday, you'll start to see classes really get into it. That's actually why we started selling, extended the ticket period from a week to 2 weeks, because those first 3 days used to be really slow, and then Thursday, Friday was a lot.
Mhm.
So in order to get all 5 days to be really competitive, we decided let's go to a second week of selling. Let the word get introduced. Let people start thinking, oh, I gotta remember to bring my ticket money, and then they forget the next day and they go, oh shoot, I gotta get my ticket money.
Well, now this year it's a little more expensive, but people can buy tickets online.
Yeah, so that's a new thing this year. Shout out to Mr. Zahner and our athletic scheduling software that allows that feature to happen. Tickets are $3, and tickets have been $3 since I can remember.
You can't even get into a sporting event for $3.
Right. Since I was in school, tickets have been $3.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what they started out at, maybe $1 somewhere along the way. Anyways, at some point they wound up being $3, and they've stayed at $3. And as of right now, there's no plan to change that.
Inflation can't touch these.
Right. But I make no promises. However, one of the things this year was tickets online, because we had people requesting to either give money to the classes or buy tickets, but they didn't want to come into the school. And so these are people from around the community. So we found a way to get online ticket sales or create online ticket sales so people could basically buy their ticket, give to the classes that maybe couldn't be here. However, tickets at the door the night of, if you're because tickets are part of our sales competition and our class sponsors are selling the tickets, they do such a good job. We've decided we've kept the ticket price at $3 if you buy from the class sponsor as part of the competition. And then if you buy online or at the door, tickets are $5.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy online up until noon on March 15th, we will still count those number of tickets as part of the competition. So those will count, but
Is that when online ticket sales are being shut off?
yeah, most likely online ticket sales will probably be probably go up until that night,
Okay.
just because I don't know if Mr. Zahner can shut that off. But the ticket sales that count for the competition
Okay. Have to be bought by noon.
by
on March
noon
15th.
on March 15th. Yeah, next Friday.
Okay.
And one of the things last year, because we had a person donate so many tickets, we decided to let every student in for free. They didn't need a ticket. They didn't buy a ticket, hoping that would get some people here. What happened was all those students that bought tickets during the week, we didn't tell them this until the end of the pep rally on Friday. What happened was all the students that bought tickets that week took their tickets and handed them to mom and dad, so that mom and dad didn't have to buy tickets at the door. And our gate was significantly lower than
Because of
any
that,
of the years past. So
Nice.
that's not going to happen this year.
Okay. So, but that gives us an incentive to buy them early.
Yeah.
They're $2 cheaper.
Yeah.
Or you can just
Or
get them online.
Come see your class sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah, every class sponsor. Who are the class sponsors?
6th grade is Mrs. Stacy Pratt. 7th grade, Mrs. Rayanne Stevens. 8th grade, Mr. Chad Hollenbaugh. 9th grade, Mrs. Brianna Bailey. 10th grade, Mrs. Michelle Faubert. 11th grade, Miss Nicole Ziaja. And senior class sponsor is Mr. Chris Stevens.
Perfect. Okay. And then can they see students to buy their tickets, or do they have to? How does that work?
Yeah, so we changed this a few years ago, but basically now contact the class sponsor. So the class sponsors go out of their way to meet people, to sell tickets. They will take their preps, they'll take their lunches after school time, before school time, whenever, to accommodate people. Hey, meet me out in front of the school. You know, what I need to buy tickets for Sports Spectacular. Or they can send the money with their student if they have a student in school.
I'm sure they can call in and say,
Yeah.
I want to do this, drop off a check, send
Right.
a check,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. Okay.
Definitely, and I call it the old days, which was just a few years ago. We used to let the students take the tickets out and sell.
Mhm.
Like students were in charge of it, but we had some issues. So
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So how can people get involved with Sports Spectacular? You're a one-man show, other than Mr. Barrett, Mr. Zahner. So how can other people?
I wouldn't say I'm a one man show at all. It takes every staff member that does a fantastic job all year long, whether it's working the gate, 3 or 4 people in the concession stand, people, there's 2 line judges for each grade. And so that's 15 people right there. Mr. Bushman doing the scoring, the line judges, people controlling the kids that are jumping out of their seats, trying to come down the bleachers to participate. So I would not say I'm a one-man show whatsoever. It takes every staff member in this building to put this thing together. And how could people get involved? What we need most from people is sharing the message of Sports Spectacular of, hey, this event's going on, come here. So promoting Sports Spectacular, and then attending. Right, the environment. Our kids have talked about that. Some of the projects they're doing. What are we really selling? Not too many people want to go watch a 3-legged race.
Right.
But the environment that is Sports Spectacular and the tradition that is Sports Spectacular, the rite of passage of coming to school at Culver Community in grades 6 through 12. If you're here all year, you're going to get to participate in this at some point. And so it's a major event for us, and it has been for some time. And
there's food. Come and have concessions.
Yeah, concession stand.
Eat dinner. Have some hot dogs.
Huge thank you to the boosters for they were able to get us a flat screen TV. So at the pep rally, students are going to be able to play Chuck a Duck, and the prize, the winner's going to get a brand new 32-inch Amazon Fire Smart TV.
How do they get a duck for that though? That's
So
not just
this-
every student, right?
Right. This is students, high school students or middle high school students, so 6 through 12. At lunch next week, our ducks will be available for sale for $1 a piece. They buy their duck, they take it home with them. Don't forget
Their responsibility.
their
to bring
responsibility to bring it
Yeah.
back. And on Friday at the pep rally, we're all gonna chuck the duck from the baseline, and closest person to the X wins. And the winner's gonna get a 32-inch
What happens if you have 2 that
smart
land on
TV.
that?
Oh, there's got to be something closer. There's the.
What if you have 2 that land right next to each other, right in the middle? It can happen.
We could split the TV,
That would be.
or maybe we have
inconvenient.
a chuck off.
There you go. That's a good idea.
That would be a chuck a duck off.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, is there anything else that we need to know? Because we have not talked about this beautiful trophy. For those of us that can't see and that are listening, this handcrafted trophy that I had to hear about for a very long time because it was so important to get this perfect to help honor all of those classes beforehand. And you did such, I mean, even the kids that you did this and you like, it's perfect, beautiful trophy to honor everyone.
So
let's talk about it.
One of the things that we did, that we do, is a smaller version of Sports Spectacular, which is Fall Bonanza. Happens during the school day. Football kick, water balloon toss, watermelon eating contest, those things. And for several years now, students have competed for the Golden Plunger, which is literally a plunger that's been spray painted gold and it's been decorated and passed around from class to class for I don't know how many years, 25 plus years. And so I was thinking, we have a trophy for that. Why don't we have a trophy for our biggest event?
So there wasn't a trophy before this?
No, there was a plaque. I found a plaque that went all the way up to like 1992, and then it stopped being updated. And I was like, well, why don't we have
probably after the first?
Yeah, whoever.
Yeah.
Who? So I was like, why don't we have a legitimate trophy that is? And the image that came to my mind was the Stanley Cup. When people win the Stanley Cup, they hold it up over their head.
This is heavy. The kids are holding this up.
Yeah, my idea came to fruition here with help from this part here was made by the Winning Edge, but I did the wood and stuff. So then we purchased the bowl and had that engraved. So the John C. Browder Sports Spectacular Champions Trophy, otherwise known as the Browder Bowl or the Curtis Cup, since the C in John C.
And
Browder
a lot of the kids
Curtis.
now may not know who Mr. Browder is.
Yeah, I think maybe our seniors may have had Mr. Browder. Seniors, possibly juniors, had Mr. Browder.
I feel like maybe he should show up to Sports Spectacular next week and kind of make a.
That would be awesome. I usually see him in the summertime. I don't get to see him in the fall, but no, he did Sports Spectacular forever. I would say he probably did Sports Spectacular for about 25 to 30 of the 39 years. So
it's time to come out of retirement.
I think Mr. White was just here a year, and so he took over, and then Mr. Stevens did it for 2 or 3. So.
And this has every class or every year listed, and so we'll.
Yeah, it continues on. The last time it was updated was 2021 because the guy that's in charge of making sure that happens gets busy. But
this sits in the trophy case. Anyone can see this.
Yep. The class of 2023 was our first three-peat winner. So they won.
And they're gone now.
Yep. So they won in 21, 22, and 23. So they were our first. There's been one class here that won 3, and I don't remember exactly what that class was. That they won 3 of the competitions, but they didn't win 3 in a row.
Right here in 1990.
Yep, 1990. But in 1988, the seniors won. So they won as freshmen, lost to sophomores, and won as junior and seniors. So they won 3. But the class of 2023 was our first to win 3 in a row. And
they were also big Fall Bonanza winners too.
Yeah. So. In 2020, it was canceled because of. So they could have been possibly. There was no possible way for them to win 4 in a row. But and Mrs. Hammond said, "Well, why don't you invite them back for this year so that they can have that opportunity?" But then that.
Well, there are probably a lot of spring break. You never know. That's not a bad idea.
Could be, but that's the magic of Sports Spectacular is that you could come back once you have a child and. You can participate once you have a kid in the parents' contest.
So maybe a couple more years.
Yeah.
At least 12.
Yeah.
When they have a 6th
I think 11.
Yeah.
6th graders are 11, 12 years old. But.
Wow. Okay. Nice. All right. Well, it is Friday the 15th, 6 p.m. Buy tickets. That will count by noon that day. You can still buy tickets at the door.
That will count towards each class's competition.
Yep. So make sure you buy, if you have a freshman, probably shouldn't buy from the sophomore class.
They're more than welcome to. There's no rules. There's no rules on ticket sales like where you could sell or when you could sell. It's basically 24 hours, no rules apply.
Okay.
But you could purchase.
Maybe if you don't clean your room, you can tell the kids, if you don't clean your room, I'm going to buy from another class.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would work, but might as well try. I don't know.
Hopefully they don't say, "Can you get me one too?" So.
Yeah. Call their bluff. Well, good. Okay, so March 15th, 6 p.m., 39th annual. Big plans next year for the 40th? Planning starts March 16th, doesn't it?
Planning for the 40th is somewhat already started in my head.
Oh,
So
there you go.
what can we do to really celebrate 40 years of this? And so it'll be interesting. We have no definite ideas yet. So if anybody has an idea, let me know.
All right, birthday cake in the concession stand.
I was thinking something bigger, but
Oh.
that's a good
With-
idea.
Fake candles that blow out and then they come back.
That's a terrible idea.
I don't know what's bigger than birthday cake.
Birthday cake in the concession stand was a good idea, but birthday cake.
Well, you said bigger, so put a candle in there that doesn't go away.
Real quick before we're done, I do want to say After Prom is having their silent auction in the hallway during Sports Spectacular. They've done that for a few years now. It's their big fundraiser.
There's a swimming raft in there. There's blankets.
Oh,
there are
After Prom,
all sorts of gift certificates.
Mrs. Stevens does a phenomenal job with After Prom
Yes.
and putting together an entire, basically school-wide, literally the entire building, both gyms, cafeteria, hallways are filled with activities, things to do, food for the kids.
I've watched you fall while roller skating.
Yeah,
We've done the
roller skating. I'm a
wrestling
teacher, and I came back to be at After Prom as a
Chaperone, yeah.
supervisor. But really, in reality, I just wanted to come see what After Prom was all about.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to After Prom, but ours was at the Lifeplex. Used basketball.
Well, that was another thing. Like
rock climbing.
at my school, we never had anything like that. So that was another thing coming to Culver that makes Culver really neat. Is they have these sports spectacular fall bonanza after prom. This stuff for the kids and to keep them safe and involved in fun activities.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on again. You were my first guest and now my fifth.
Well, I had some students ask me this, Mr. Croy, where's episode 1? And I told them this. I said, episode 1 was me and my wife introducing the podcast. Did not turn out very well.
We don't talk about episode 1.
It was not because we talked about anything specific or non-specific. It was just we hadn't, discovered everything yet. It was really a trial run, and we should have done that before we did episode 1. But basically what happened was it came time for episode 2 to be filmed and published, and we still weren't done editing episode 1 yet. And so we're like, okay, this is important that we get this done. So let's get episode 2 out, start there with our first guest, and move forward from there. And we've done so. So this week was supposed to be Mrs. Danielle Maverick in the Spirit Spot, which will be open during Sports Spectacular.
Yes, that's their last night, she said, for the store to be open for the year. So make sure you stop by and get your Cavs gear.
Yeah, so she was supposed to be on this week. She did hers yesterday because we looked at the schedule and went, wait a minute, this would come out the day of Sports Spectacular. This should come out the week before. So we're going to bump Mrs. Maverick. Hers is going to come out next week. Or maybe we could get them both out at the same time, possibly. See how much work our editor can do. He's just staring at us. So, but no, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I know this is probably longer than our other podcasts have been.
That's okay. This is exciting. So this is our public plea, Mr. Browder. March 15th, 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
We will open up the doors and let you drive the golf cart right up to it.
I think he's done that before.
Let's do it.
Well, no, Mr. Lowry's done that before.
Yeah.
I know about Mr. Lowry.
Let's do it. Okay. Thank you.
Here are your Culver community events for March 8th through March 14th. Tonight, the Culver varsity cheerleaders will travel to Triton High School to compete alongside Plymouth, Knox, and Tippy Valley. On Tuesday, March 12th, the mobile dentist will be at Culver Elementary School. The boys and girls track team will travel to Culver Academies for an indoor track meet, and there will be a PTO meeting at Culver Elementary School at 6 p.m. On Wednesday, March 13th, the mobile dentist will be back at Culver Elementary School, and there will be a choir concert in the auditorium starting at 7:30 p.m. You can find all of these events on our school event calendar at culverathletics.com.